Welcome back to the reign of Megatron, and today we will be looking at the Generations Megatron. The very first gun Megatron we got since G1. And there's a reason for that. Yeah, a little history here. Back in the 80s, there were toy guns that looked a little too realistic. I mean, there were squirt guns with changeable magazines and just looked so realistic that a kid actually got shot wielding one. Yeah, so ever since then, toy guns need to have the flare orange on the tip, at least here in the US, and be very brightly colored so they can't be confused for real weapons. Sorry, but that's just the state of affairs, and it's also the part of the reason though I'm wondering why, if I'm ever going to get my package for the fourth Megatron of my review. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can probably guess what kind of Megatron that is. But now we'll look at the Generations Megatron for now, and it is a very gray and purple gun mode, and it looks kind of like something I could paint a Nerf gun to look like. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone actually took a Nerf gun, got one of the add-on scopes, and just painted it to look like this Megatron. And as for the scope, it has a nice Decepticon symbol in there. Scope kind of sort of works. It's hard to see on the camera, but yeah, that actually kind of sort of works. There is a clicking trigger here, but my adult hand requires me to engage the click in order to fit my thumb into the trigger, and while it works, it has to be far beyond the thickness of my thumb in order for me to actually use the clicking. And this handle is kind of small for my adult hand. It might be small for a kid's hand too, I don't know. There's really nothing else this gun mode does. The hammer just is there. It doesn't do anything. The barrel is clearly made out of clear plastic. You'll see why in a bit, but it's not a bad looking gun mode. And considering this is the first time it was in gun mode in, I'd say, 20 years, I think, when this came out. Kind of an interesting Transformer to have in your collection. There is a more show-accurate version of this that was released by Takara that was completely in metallic silver. Import that at your own risk. Anyway, we'll get this guy into robot mode. So we gotta pop this. Yes, he's a shell former. Pop the gun shell to expose the innards, and we see kind of how he's supposed to transform. So we'll take this, click that out just a little bit, click this because that clips in right there, fold this around like so. We'll deal with that a little later. You'll fold this out like this, flip this around, click that into place, clip that like so, rotate that down, take this assembly, click it in like so. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Fold out his hand, clip in the cannon, and we do the same on the other side, like so. Take this piece right here, and there is a clip and a post there. Clip that in. Take the legs, slide these panels up, fold out both sides of his feet, and finally we fold this down, flip out the head, and there we have Generations. Oh, wait. These little clips fold in like so, which is more just to clean up the transformation. And there we have the Generations Megatron. Not really reminiscent of the G1 Megatron entirely, but close enough that it actually resembles him a little. There's that flare orange on his shoulder, but I guess you can't really help that. So he has these wings, which are made out of clear plastic. I am not sure the state of affairs of the hinges for these or the hinges here. Considering how long I've had this, it's kind of not concerning me right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if these wings eventually break off. As you can see, his trigger is now on his back instead of his crotch, like it was in G1. Thank goodness for that. His ratchets are still pretty stiff all these years later. Has some good range in his shoulders. His arm goes out like that. It's a nice bicep. Just a little over 90 degrees up bend at the elbow, but no wrist. His head is indeed on a ball joint, and it is still kind of tight on mine. This arm is, of course, hindered because of the fusion cannon, which they made underslung under his arm. Almost like if someone put a chain gun under your arm, like in a video game of some kind. I don't really mind this. I mean, yes, he's supposed to have it on the side of his arm, but it's a pretty decent look for him, if I do say so myself, although you do have to be careful that this will bump into here. His hips are also ratcheted with some nice range. His knees go about 90 degrees, has a thigh swivel, but his feet are just there. There's really no tilt or anything, so getting him in any good pose is gonna be a bit tricky because there's really no way to change the position of his feet to support any really good action pose. And of course you have to contend with these wings things, which again I don't really care either way. It definitely gives him a nice profile, although it definitely hurts the G1 aesthetic they were trying to go for. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Takara version just looks a little weird. I think the Takara version is solid plastic, not clear plastic, but I do not know because I do not have the Takara version. There really isn't really much else to say about this Megatron. If you're looking for a gun Megatron and you can't really find the G1 or afford the Masterpiece, I'd say this is at least a good gun if you don't mind it being completely undersized for your adult hand. There was another Megatron released in Generations that turned into a gun, and that was a Legion class, and unfortunately I don't know where I put mine of him. I do have it somewhere with my Optimus and my Starscream, but I do not know where they went. Hopefully I'll find those eventually. But anyway, that is my third review, and hopefully I will be able to continue with this with my fourth. See you later.